What's going on, guys? I appreciate those of you that were waiting for the stream to start. So we are back on schedule today. I mean, yes and no. It's scheduled start time. Had to start a little early yesterday, but typically we're not scheduled for Wednesdays. But because I'm going to Louisiana for the next several days, it's going to be the last stream of the week till Monday. And haven't even opened the package from Twisted Lily, the newest release from Vilhelm Parfumerie. It's called Faces of Francis. I have looked at the notes. Metallic, lactonic, a lot of saffron, stuff like that. That's why I titled this the way I did, Wildly Unique. It seems to be extremely unique. Animalic, metallic, lactonic, spicy. Like there's a lot leathery, a lot of interesting things. Like this could smell awful, or this could be like one of the most badass releases of the year. I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot of in between. So I actually didn't spray anything on. And I'm going to wear that as my scent of the day, as well as a spray on the arm for us to sniff on while we're going through this. So might as well go ahead and pop it open, right? And get into that. Any other spots I need to untape? Or is it just that one spot? It is just that one spot. Okay. So we're good. So put that to the side. Nice and surrounded by bubble wrap. They definitely did a really good job here with that. So here we have it. So typically I wouldn't dive right into the fragrance, but I want to get it sprayed on so I get my scent of the day rolling while you guys are loading up the chat with your scent of the day. So Faces of Francis, the newest release from the brand, still sealed. So even though Twisted Lily sent this to me, I am who I am and I say what I say. Never has any bearings on what's going to come out of my mouth, guys. I don't do partnerships where they want me to say certain things. I just don't. Never have, never will. So let's get this sprayed on. I'm very curious. So curious that I intentionally did not spray anything on because I want to just wear this as my scent of the day. Solid presentations. Their bottles are nice looking, but still kind of strange at the same time. I've always thought that, like, they're unique. Hockey pucks, definitely have a bit of a hockey puck feel to them. But I like that vintage luxury look, kind of like the texturing and the way the glass work is on like an Eau Sauvage bottle, for example. And their magnetic caps. They have really good magnetic caps. There's their logo, Vilhelm Parfumerie, on there. So let's get a few sprays. Let's get it in the air first, shall we? Ooh, that is super fresh. Okay, now I'm excited. Do 4 sprays. 1 here, 1 on the hand. Another spray and a half right there. So I kind of missed a little bit. So it's technically about a whole spray. 1, 2, 3, 7 sprays on. I like this. This is different. I get it's so the saffron here is leathery. It's a lot of saffron. We'll look at the notes in a second, but a lot of saffron here in the opening. Spiced metallic, a lot of saffron, but very metallic. We're on to something here, guys. That what Vilhelm Parfumerie is on to something. Because London Funk was strange. That's the last new release I got from them, where Twisted Lily sent it to me for a launch. And it was okay. It was solid. For a musk fragrance, it really was good. But not all that many funky, musky fragrances are my style, as you guys know. There's not too many that really work for me. Like, I can appreciate them, but they're not necessarily high wearability for me. Whereas this is strange, but good strange. I like that. It's even a little smoky already on the skin. Okay, so we're excited. So scent of the day. I'm excited anyways. Faces of Francis, the topic of discussion here. Vilhelm Parfumerie. Let's get caught up on the chat real quick because I see you guys are coming in hot. We got, just like yesterday, I totally anticipate a very intimate crowd. I don't expect a ton of people here because we're talking about a niche fragrance. So it is what it is. Whoever shows up, happy to have you. So let's see who's here. Fragrance Fraternity. What's going on, my man? Wearing Chrome EDP. That's a good one. At Burlington, Chrome Aqua in my basket. What's your favorite nautical voyage flanker? As far as flanker, I would probably have to say Sport is the one I've worn the most. but Nautical Voyage is still the best Nautical Voyage. But as far as the flankers, definitely Sport's the one I've got the biggest dent in the bottle. How are you, Joel? Always good to see you, fragrance apologist. Wearing Fetish Pour Homme. I saw your post literally within the last 30 minutes, actually, on IG. 9 a.m. dive, excellent choice. Oh, I'm loving this sillage. It's super ozonic fresh, super fresh, metallic, spicy, smoky leather. That's all the accords that I'm getting here. So today, Sphinx Oceanic Symphony. Still haven't tried that one. L'Homme Eau de Toilette. The original is still the best. In a lot of cases, the original is always the best. And I'm with you on that. You know, there's no arguments from me on this end. Gang's all here wearing Signature Rosé, one of my favorite fragrances. Good to see you, Ethan. Missoni Wave layered with Imperium. I did see your post on IG as well, Joel. Excellent choice either way, but you happen to layer them. I'm sure it smells good. Black Walnut for Jeff. Lanvin L'Homme. Never tried that, Frank. Never tried that one before. Dakota, good to see you. Wearing St. Kitts. Had a dream the other night about new fragrances. I saw Prada put out a new fragrance called Amber and Coral. Then I saw the Xerjoff put out a new fragrance called Black Leather. I didn't know Xerjoff has a new fragrance called Black Leather, but the name alone has my interest. I'll tell you that. Dominique, good to see you. I am loving this sillage, guys. They have samples. We'll go over it. We're going to go over it on the Twist Lily site. This is sample worthy. If you want something different that's outside of the scope of what usually comes out, I had a feeling I would like this a lot. I had a feeling when I saw the notes, I was like, ooh, that's different. That's different. So far, so good. Sampling Grandmaster from Mind Games as my sin of the day. Makes me wonder, so what's to come? 10-4. What's up, Ross in chat? No sin of the day. Oh, not feeling too well, Adolfo? Wilhelm's bottle design sleek. It is sleek and classy, but they're kind of a little awkward at the same time. Like they're kind of like the way the Bulgari Aqua bottles are. Like they take up a lot of space on the shelf and they're flat. You know what I mean? So like they don't look all that great on a shelf. Depending on which shelf, you might not even see them. If you put them high on a shelf, you'll just see the cap sticking up. If you put it on a high shelf. And they take up, like I said, a lot of space. Because I have 2 other bottles. And this is going to go right next to it. And 3 bottles, that's going to be a whole row. I won't be able to go any deeper. So like you could fill one of these shelves with 12 bottles from them. Whereas with Mancera and Montal, I have like 35 bottles. That shelf right there, you see all the space? There's only 2 right here on this last row. I still got room to put like 3 more fragrances behind it and all that space on the side. And just right here is like around 50 fragrances, 40 some odd fragrances. You see what I'm saying? And I could probably fit 12 of these on the same shelf. So that's my only gripe as far as collection purposes. They're a pain in the ass. They look cool, but they're a pain in the ass to put in the collection. I get the whole lactonic thing. It's got a little bit of a strange, milky, metallic kind of thing going, but not Pegasus. Don't think Pegasus. It doesn't smell like Parfums de Marly Pegasus at all. Strong with you? Absolutely. Ooh, in the dead, I say, hey, whatever works, Spencer. You're not going to hear any gripes from me. That's the best one in the line, in my opinion. Nautical Voyage, excellent choice. Let's see. Let me try to get kind of caught up a little bit. A little behind. Rocking the Oceanic Symphony, layered with Lattafa's Bright Peach. Looking forward to hearing about the scent. So far, so good. We're going to let it dry. Guys, do me a favor. As per usual, we have half the likes to viewers. Do me a quick favor and hit that thumbs up. Make it a habit, guys. It's what I do when I click a video. The first thing I do is hit that thumbs up. Before I can even click skip ad, I've already clicked the thumbs up. Dude, be more like me. What can I say? Help a brother out, you know. Cryptic Figure, good to see you. I want Mango Skin. Interesting. What's going on, guys? Day Canyon Sky by Hollister. A muskier take on First Instinct together. What's good? Oolong Tea. I've heard good things about that one. You know me, Ross. Whenever I'm available, I'm here, and I appreciate that, Joel. I greatly appreciate that. Kenzo Ohm, Eau de Parfum, one of the better aquatics out there. Speaking of leather, because I got a nice leather accord going here. That is a saltwater leather fragrance. It's an odd pairing that really works. Oud Mineral. I haven't wore it since I got here. I really bought that for special occasions, so I don't know when I'm going to wear it, but that's such an interesting fragrance. And guys, most of the time when I say interesting, I mean it as a positive thing. I don't mean it in a negative manner. I mean it as a compliment. That's a lovely fragrance. If waterlogged rotten wood was a flattering way to describe a fragrance, then this would be it. It actually smells really good. Isola Blue working perfectly today in the hot, humid Philly. The only fragrance I've ever given a 10 out of 10 in an individual review to. I agree. There's no bad situation with that. Elysium Parfum Cologne, one of the best metallic citrus fragrances. Brioni Eclat, one of my favorite new discoveries of the year. Let's hope WoW doesn't freeze us today. So I did do a speed test. It's funny that you say that. So let's see. Let's see what it's looking like right now, guys. So it was 500 and some odd megabytes and like a 50 megabyte download stream. So we were good. See, look, we're good. We're good. It was like 30 megabytes per second yesterday when that shit happened. See, look at the speed. We're good. We're good. I don't even need to bother finishing. Yeah, it's almost to 600. It stopped at 587. That's plenty. We're good. I think we're good on the bandwidth. So I mean, anything could happen at any point. This live stream is going to go for about an hour, so you never know. That's Sarah Pearl. Myself, what do you think about it? I've only heard like disappointment from people so far. I'm off Siage. That's a good one. Perry Ellis Red. Okay. Boz, good to see you as always, my man. I do like that they won't ever tip over. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. You literally have to knock this off with a hockey stick because it's a freaking hockey puck, right? Woke up late for work and missed my sin of the day. Brushing my teeth was more important than hustled out the house. That's fair. That is fair. Fam in the house. We're in Chergy. Ooh. That's probably their most popular fragrance. The only one I have a full bottle of. I've had 2 of their little box samples of Chergy. I know how good Chergy is. I don't know why I've never gotten a bottle. It's amazing. You guys know 5 o'clock au Ginger Ombre from them, from Sirs Lieutenant. That's my jam. 10-4 Pacific Rock Moss. Hope you're well, dude. I've bought Latafa Assad and Detour Noir. How are the performance and projection on these? Assad's phenomenal. I actually have a full review if you want to get a little bit more detail. Assad's phenomenal performer. As far as Detour Noir, I have a sample. I only sprayed it like twice. Couldn't tell you. It does smell like Leighton though. But I don't really know what the performance is like overall. Boz Bottle. That's funny. that actually works. He said, nah. That works, though. Iris Flame. Zerzoff Mephisto. Promised myself I wouldn't change my nickname anymore. Eric, what's going on? Matière Noir by LV. Nice watery rose. I would like it then. Como Lake. Which one? Which one from Como Lake? I got Noturno. That's the only one I have from the brand. It's phenomenal. Good to see you, Juan. Hope everyone's doing well. We're in LV. Okay. L'Immensité. I believe is how you say that. The L'Immensité. My birthday's coming up September 4th. Heading to Louis Vuitton store soon. Well, I don't know if I'll see you at that point. I know it's kind of early, but just in case, happy early birthday, Eric. Just in case I don't see you around the 4th of September. See you somewhere on the internet. I mean, I haven't seen you, but you know what I mean. Missed your live. Eric, I didn't know you did a live. Great job. I had no idea. Mango skinned. Okay. It's supposed to be a banger. I still want to try morning chess. There, Aventus. I still want to try that. So we're at a pretty good spot for the most part. I'll go a little further here in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and dive into these notes. It's literally advertised on the front page of their website. Newest release. So those of you not familiar with Twisted Lily, they are an online niche store. They only carry niche. This is a good spot to buy discovery sets from Mancera and Montal. I'm glad they have this on their first page because before we even dive into that, I wanted to let you guys know that that's a great, great way to go about trying some of these houses because they carry a lot. Obviously, it's all full retail stuff. They carry a wide variety. I do a lot of collaborations with them. I have I've been working with them for years at this point. But the main thing is when you go to samples, you can go samples and you can get discovery sets you can buy individuals and then discovery sets. That's the main thing I wanted to cover with you guys because There's all kinds of options here, as you can see. Juliet has a gun, Raja's summary discovery set for him. Juliet has a gun mini bottles, Goldfield and Banks. And so it just goes on and on. The MFK, my MFK wardrobe set for him came from this place. Here's the one for her. They got Creed. They got a bunch. Amouage. Just goes on and on. They have discovery sets for a lot of different brands. So that's the main thing I wanted to show you guys here. Xerjoff, Wilhelm, Hermetica, 8 and Bob, Memo. It just, like I said, it goes on and on. They got 3 pages of discovery sets. So I would encourage you guys to eat that leave their own. You want to go exploring. They have artistic fragrances most of the time. They have some mass appealing, easy to wear stuff, but for the most part, they tell stories with their fragrances. But let's get into Faces of Francis. So you can get all the way down to a 20 ml. Obviously, I have a discount code down in the link in the description. If you're interested in checking out, I would encourage you to click buy a sample. If you're going to try it, just get a sample for $5. The 10% applies to that. So if you're interested in this fragrance, this is what I encourage you to do. Don't just blind buy the bottle. Sample it. So 50 ml, and then even a 20 ml. I have never held one of their 20 mls, but that looks cool, especially with a magnetic cap. That's actually sleek. I like the way the 20 ml looks more so. So let's look at the notes. Imagine you're alongside the artist in the studio. What's inspiring him to create? He recalls this volcanic island somewhere in the Mediterranean. He recalls the colors and smells of Tangier, where pistachio mixes with saffron. He recalls his past or imaginary trips that still awaken his senses. Inspiration is a fantastic journey between memories and desires of the present. Top is aldehydes. That's all that freshness. There you go. There, you guys know I love some aldehydes. Saffron, yeah, that was clear as day. I still get a lot of saffron. It's leathery, but still warm and spicy, but mixed with the aldehydes, it's crazy fresh. It manages to be super fresh and warm at the same time. It's not easy to pull off, I would think, but here we go. And then grilled pistachio, juniper wood, driftwood, oud, ambergris, cypriol, vetiver, and fumed styrax. So oud's probably the smokiness that I've been getting from this, because it's not really all that funky. There's a touch of it in the background, but it's more of a smoky smell that I'm going to attribute that to the oud. I would say the aldehydes and saffron is what dominates. What's giving this lactonic milky feel? I don't know. I guess maybe the grilled pistachio. Maybe that's what's doing it. But it's still, the main note here is saffron. This is based around saffron. That's kind of how, that's the base layer is how you can look at it. Even though it's listed in the top, the base layer to this scent profile is saffron. Yeah, I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere, because even though the aldehydes have calmed down and it's not as fizzy bright and crazy fresh, it's still fresh, but it's not as crazy fresh as the opening spray was. This is much more easygoing than you may think, because this is, now you guys see what I'm talking about, because I did see this initially when they sent me the email about with the press release on what was going on with this fragrance and asked me if I was interested. I saw the note breakdown and I saw all this just craziness going on. It's like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a note pyramid that looks like this. I have to try this, and they're offering it up. So yeah, of course, yes, I want to check it out. And here we are. This is literally first I smell it. You guys saw me cut the tape here on camera. So, and I was so excited. I mean, when's the last time you guys saw me do one of these live streams where I didn't come into it with something already on? And I have 7 sprays of this fragrance on right now. So I'm digging it. So I was not anticipating this to fall into one of the better releases I've picked up this year, but it's definitely there because it's crazy versatile and super unique. Kind of how I would put Masa from Kajal. So that's 2 niche releases that I've gotten my hands on this year that are everyday wearable, but so different. The way the accords come together to where I could walk by anybody right now, anybody, anywhere, and I'm confident they've never smelled this profile before on somebody. And that's how I felt about Masa, where it's like 2 different profiles in one. Like there's some things that's not like crazy strange or challenging, but there's a lot of things that don't make sense that they go together when you think about it or even say it out loud and read it. But when you smell it, it works. That's kind of what's going on here with Faces of Francis. That's how I feel about this. It looks weird. The note breakdown looks weird, but exciting kind of weird though, right? It can't just be me. And then when you smell it, it's not as complicated as it may even look. Not that this is a complex note breakdown, but when you see aldehyde, saffron, grilled pistachio, driftwood, which is normally in aquatics, then you have oud and cypriol, which are more earthy, but it's not all that earthy. Smoky, yes. A touch of funk, sure. But for the most part, it's aldehydes. I think the grilled pistachio saffron combo is what's giving me kind of this lactonic spiced leather. I know that sounds weird, and it is a little weird, but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Very, very much enjoyable. So we'll pull that away. Let's get caught up on the chat a little bit. Boz Bottled Alert. There you go. What's up, chat? Wearing Black Panther from Alexandria. Received Oud Lemon Mint from Mancera today and Mr. Maritime last week. So people have been coming out the woodwork since yesterday to let me know how they feel about Mr. Maritime. Apparently, it is a great pickup for Atrium Fragrances, for Omar's house. So I'm that much more excited to try it out now. I've had people message me on IG even like, man, you need to check it out. I got a bottle this long, however long ago, and it's this. And so I'm not going into it blind. I've already had like 7 people give me their opinion on it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I kind of have an idea of what to expect. Activate Infinite Boz Bottled. There you go. Dedrick, what's going on, big dog? Hope all is well today. Wearing Dior Homme 2020. My man went versatile. I'm actually smelling using kind of a Swiss Army knife that you wouldn't expect to be a Swiss Army knife. I would put this in that signature scent worthy for the guy that wants something different. You're going to spend more, and you're going to get more. You're going to get unique. It's not overwhelmingly strong. I have 7 sprays on now. I have 1 on my hand, 1 on each forearm, and then 4 around the neck. I'm wearing 7 sprays, and it's not overwhelming, but it's consistent. My nose isn't fatiguing every time. I don't have to look for it. I can smell it consistently, but as soon as I go in a little bit, it hits me right away. So my nose isn't fatiguing quickly from it. So that tells me outside of the aldehydes and the ambergris, there's probably not a whole lot that's not naturals. It's probably like 75-80% naturals in here. Now, this is an assumption. No one has told me that, and I didn't read that anywhere, but it's kind of the feeling I'm getting here, because typically when you have much more synthetic notes, you go anosmic a little faster. Naturals will still make you go nose blind. It shit still happens. Your sense of smell, your olfactory fatigue can be from anything, smelling anything. It doesn't have to be synthetics, but synthetics do kind of speed the process typically. Hope everyone's well. Jimmy Choo Man Ice is solid. As long as you don't have expectations of really good performance, it's a beautiful lemon grapefruit that dries down into a fresh woody vetiver, basically. It's that simple. It's fresh. It's kind of like their take on Dior Homme Cologne. It smells very similar to it. Much woodier, though, because of the vetiver. Merrill Almond Tints and Rifakat coming in tomorrow. Those are both great. That's 2 of my favorite Middle Eastern pickups of the year. I'm going to have to do a top 10 Middle Eastern pickups video this year since I've gotten so many. Add that to the end of the year formats for 2023, I guess. Vodka on the rocks. I've heard good things. Good to see you, Justin. What's going on, big dog? Haven't seen you in a few days. Just getting ready for work. Wearing Spice Bomb Night Vision Eau de Toilette. Underappreciated fragrance right there, my man. Did one with Dedrick. I had no idea. Because for somebody that tells me over and over how I'm his guy, I sure had no idea. I didn't get an invite. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I wasn't available. I'm just busting your balls. I wasn't available yesterday. That's why I had to go live a little early. I was tied up till like 7 o'clock last night Central Time. That's why I had to go live at 2:15. So I had some stuff going on, but I'm just busting your balls, Dedrick. It's Noturno, so you got the same one. Beautiful, beautiful, spicy, funky, woody oud. That's a good one. Really, really good. A little creamy. Where can I find Xerjoff at stores? Thinking of getting into that house. You mean to physically go and try them? I would think places like Nordstrom and Neiman's. I would just click Google and search, because I'm not sure if you want to physically go and try some. I would think places like that, but if you can always just Google search, my man. Just got done chowing down rice meat meal prep. 10-4. Always fun to see the faces of people in chat and go live. 10-4. Heard Macy's might have an, so on the 24th is my understanding. Yep, 24th is what I was told. They'll have their 15% off. Damn, it smells good in the chat. Wearing Zion. Frankie, what's going on, big dog? Wearing Gin Tonic. That's not a unique niche release, but it's one of my favorite releases of the year. I've raved about that one on this channel. I wore it last week. I sprayed down with it last week. I think I forgot to put it in the did I forget to put it in the weekly rotation? I don't remember. It was last week or week before. I think it was last week. Don't forget to like the video. That's what I'm talking about. Let them know, Joel. Let them know. Yeah, we got a small crowd today because, a niche fragrance. So not everybody's going to have the interest. That's one of the downsides to creating content with niche. You're not going to get a high level of viewership, but the ones that are coming to see stuff like this are really into fragrances. So you guys are really into fragrances. Going to a networking event later, and here are the options. Craving Unique. Pure XS, I wouldn't call that unique. Oh Intense Vetiver, I know you're a big fan. H24 EDT, that's definitely unique. Nikos Sculpture, 1 million Lucky. Armani Code Parfum. Well, the most unique is going to be H24. That's the most unique of that group. I would go between Oh Intense Vetiver and H24. Make your decision between the Hermeses, and I know you've been really loving Oh Intense Vetiver. It'll make a very profound statement because it's definitely an intense vetiver smell, especially in the opening. Dry down's not so bad, but the opening, yeah, that's a big boy fragrance right there. If you want something a little different, that's probably going to be your best bet. But if you want fresher but still different, H24. That's what I'm eyeballing. It would be between those two for me in your situation. Kevin, good to see you. Say 1 million Lucky. Joel's thinking sweet. Loam Sport. Wow, I haven't smelled that since I worked at Jaguar Land Rover. The guy in the desk next to me, that he used to leave it on his desk. He wore that every day. Face, thanks, Joel. Fluid Tar. Just picked up First Instinct Blue based off your suggestion. It's definitely solid, but doesn't seem to last. It doesn't last on anyone's skin, my man. That's why I make sure to say it every time I talk about it. I talk about it was like 3 hours at best. So it's not long lasting. That's why it is my favorite gym fragrance. It's perfect for the gym. It's literally my go-to. Scent profile is very nice though. Absolutely. Definitely want to get my nose on it. It's so different, Dedrick. It's so different. And it's nice to have the aldehydes not in a cheap fragrance, because a lot of my aldehydic dominant fragrances on this wall over here are typically synthetic designers like your YSL scent profile, Toothman Sports full of aldehydes, David Beckham Instinct Sport, that's full of aldehydes. I'm trying to think what else. And it's not too many niche fragrances that have aldehydes on this wall. None that immediately come to mind. So I'm getting a quality hit, basically, of aldehydes. I have more. Stuff like CH Men Sport, that comes to mind. Boss Bottled Sport, grapefruit and aldehydes. Again, see, it's all very synthetic, which aldehydes is a man-made aroma molecule anyway. But it's so well done here. You can tell this is a much higher quality oil set that they, as far as raw materials that they went with. I'm vibing with this one. This is my kind of jam right here. It's just getting smoother as it dries. It's getting a little bit creamy. Yeah, $5. Get a sample, guys. Try it. Get 50 cents off if you use TLTG 10. It's 10%. So you said $4.50, But while you're there, maybe grab some samples of some other things that you were wanting to try. Most samples are $5 or $6 on there. And they got a multitude of niche brands to look at. Or maybe you can grab a Mancera set for 30 some odd bucks before the 10% off. You can try 8 fragrances in one set. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to do some niche sampling, Twisted Lily's a good spot to get stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really vibing with this. This is definitely my favorite of the 3 fragrances that I have from them. Black citrus is good, but not this good. And then London Funk's okay. It's solid, but I'm not always in the mood for a funky, musky fragrance. This is my kind of style. This is my jam. This is the one for me. It's drawing into a more designer-like profile. Not the quality, but like the appeal. Easy to like when it starts to settle. It's getting easier and easier. Like the saffron, it's not even really all that spicy anymore. And at this stage, it's hard to believe oud and cypriol oil is in here because it's that little bit of funk's gone. There's no funkiness. It's not earthy. Like cypriol oil's typically got like an earthy green smell. It's nice and woody, a little touch of salt, probably driftwood, just a little touch of saltiness. It is changing. It's got to be that pistachio that's making it so creamy. It is getting creamy. Still spicy, but not near as spicy. Saffron's still there. But it's slowing down a little bit. It's slowing its roll just a bit. It's getting better and better, man. You can wear this every day. It's a good work fragrance. You want to be different? Different profile? Quality, man. Quality stuff. If I dislike Eternity Aqua, do you think I'll dislike Chrome Aqua? Not the biggest fan of Violet Leaf. If you don't like Eternity Aqua, then you won't like Polo Blue. Because Eternity Aqua is basically their take on Polo Blue. It smells almost the same. It's a little bit sweeter. I'm late, but here finally, Raja Parfums Manhattan with a spritz of Raja United Arabs Emirates. On top of that, some fruity flair. That's an expensive layering combo right there, my friend. To My Father by Vilhelm sounds interesting to me. I have not tried Panadora. I know Boz over here in the chat, he's a big fan of that brand. You know how we're rocking now. So yeah, I'm way behind in the chat because that's from me busting you balls about the live stream. So I am going to have to skip ahead. Great fragrance. How many sprays do you do an 80-degree day? Like 3, maybe 3. It's very, 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 very synthetically sweet. It's candy fragrance. So very sweet. Question: have you ever smelled plum and cognac? No. And I know pretty much everybody I'm friends with that makes content has. And everybody raves about it, and I'm sure I would like it. Boozy plum, come on now. I just haven't gotten around to sampling the house. Appreciate my guy Dedrick bringing me into my own. My boy Ross ain't want to kick it with his guy. Hey, I just didn't get the invite. Don't put it on me. That's on YouTube. That is on YouTube. Oh, man. I'm sure you guys had a good time. There's a $25 light blue O Intense clone that Ash from Jensen says is almost identical. It's called Men's Invocation by Centalis. Just thought you might be interested. No, because you can get a 100 ml tester with cap of light blue intense for like $52. I would say just spend the $52 and get the real one. Because it's literally just $25 more than 25. You know what I mean? It's like double that. That's what I would suggest personally, because you can just get light blue intense, and get the real deal. But I'm sure it smells good if it smells like light blue intense. Now, if I stumbled across it, sure. Am I going to seek it out? Probably not. I smelled last night. We'll be adding that to my collection very soon. Where you only talk about affordable perfumes. I've done that a bunch of times. Boss. You usually here for them. I've done that a bunch of times. Maybe one of the topics for next week will do something affordable. Go to Old Navy. They have 14. Sea salt and fig. I have it. I've had it for years. It's on the bottom shelf over here on this side. Everything over 100 will be banned. That's fair. I own not one bottle from Killian. Not one. The house as a whole doesn't speak to me outside of Angel Share, and I have Soma Parfums Halcyon, which I think is better. I've had a decant of Angel Share. I think it's better than Angel Share personally, so that's why I won't even bother buying Angel Share, which is my favorite from the house. Enjoy several who cost well over. I know that's fair. I understand. Okay, so I got to skip ahead a little bit. I'm just so, there you go. Aqua d'Adora from Panadora. I got to skip ahead. Sexy, high-quality fragrance under 40. There's not as many high-quality fragrances under $40 as you would think. Sexy is just as subjective as liking the fragrance in general. So it depends on how you feel about sweet and or spicy. That would dictate how I would answer this. So, because I would think Latafa Camra, which is a sweeter take on Angel Share, like I was just talking about Angel Share, but if you got to like sweet, because it is for a sweet fragrance, it's very, very appealing. And you can get that one for under $40, $35 range. I hope you enjoy it, Boz. So guys, I'm so far behind. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. Try not to go too far. Let's see. Day Oud Noir from Vertus, very underrated in my opinion. The apple, rhubarb, plum, grape accord with oud makes it. You just sold me. That note breakdown alone sounds good. Apple, rhubarb, plum, and grape with oud. That is an interesting sounding fragrance. Anybody else get excited by this comment? Because that sounds like something I need to try. Yeah, definitely my type of profiles right there, Boz. Strong and opulent velvet iris would be perfect. Okay. I heard Latafa has a new one coming out. Body Out Oud Honor and Glory. I wonder what that's going to smell like. Because Sublime was a home run. Sublime's a home run. So I'm curious what the next one's going to be in that line. I'm not surprised they're not capitalizing off of that success. Oh, no, I know. I know you're just picking. I'm just picking back, man. Just found myself a great deal at Marshall's. Calvin Klein Defy EDT gift set for $25. Yeah, you can't beat that. It's basically a more woody take. Doesn't have all the aldehydes, and it's more woody take on YSL Eau de Toilette. It's actually quite nice. I like it. I really want to try the Parfum. The Eau de Parfum smells nothing like the Eau de Toilette. And based off the notes for the new Parfum, I'm sure it's going to smell like nothing like the previous two. But the previous two are really good. The Eau de Parfum's a orange, peppery leather smell, basically. Your collection was a football. Can any player of all time, who would it be and why? That's tough. That's a tough question. Trying to think running backs that were a steal, that were mega versatile before it became as pass heavy, like the early PPR running backs, like your Maurice Jones-Drews and your Ray Rices. Because I know Ray Rice fucked up, guys, but on the field, I have a Ray Rice jersey. I have that, for those of you that don't remember, hey, diddle diddle, Ray Rice up the middle. My cousin bought me that shirt for Christmas one year. I was a Ray Rice fan before he smacked his old lady on camera. He fucked everything up. But Matt Forte, too, out of Tulane, because Matt Forte was an all-purpose yards leader, but didn't get the I'm going to go with Matt Forte because he was an all-purpose yard leader for several years straight. He was a top 3 pick in PPR for several years in fantasy football because he didn't get hurt all that much, at least the first 5 years. He didn't get hurt all that much. He was the entire team's offense, and he was not the highest paid player. He wasn't a super high draft pick, and he came out of Tulane, came out of South Louisiana. So I'm going to go with Matt Forte. Some of you have no clue who the hell I'm talking about. Eric does. Eric knows who Matt Forte is. Eric was in the league. You were in the league while Matt was in the league. Been seeing Invictus Intense popping up everywhere. Ever tried? Absolutely. I have a 50 ml. It's basically picture Invictus with whiskey. If you have the original Invictus, now add a sweet booze accord, whiskey note, and you have Invictus Intense. Opulent oud. Let's see. Luna Rosa Sport smells like Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mans with enhanced woody notes. Aromatic, a little minty, vanilla, a dense woody accord in the drawdown. There you go. Bridal Rosa Sport. You're right. Polar Blue is not my thing. Okay, going to scoop Chrome Aqua. And Tommy, hell yeah. I hope you enjoy Tommy. So here's the thing with Chrome Aqua, it's metallic citrus. It's not quite the same thing. It's very sharp, much more of a shower gel fragrance than something like an Eternity Aqua. Whereas, yeah, Eternity Aqua, it's their take on Polar Blue. It always has been. Kind of like a slightly more grown-up take on Polar Blue. They're very, very similar. Very, very, very similar. The original Polo Blue, for those of you not sure, Polo Blue Eau de Toilette, the first one. Yeah, they're very, very similar. So if you didn't like Eternity Aqua, you just don't like Polo Blue, or at least the original. You might like some of the flankers. But yeah, you're saying that's definitely not your thing. So that makes sense. It's hard for me to not say Vers Le Sous, because that's kind of been my favorite. Carasso Bay, you can't go wrong if you want tropical. Green water, timeless, citrus, neroli, petitgrain, that timeless. There's a lot of green fragrances that smell like that, but the quality is really good. And Velours Boissé, I mean, I'm listing all four that I have just to give you an idea of the profiles. That's basically niche, Bentley Intense, very boozy, leathery, woody, and spicy, rich, masculine fragrance. So it comes down to what profile sounds the most enticing to you, because I'm 4 for 4. I haven't come across any level even remotely close to mediocre from the brand yet. So it comes down to, you want tropical, you want everyday green, do you want classic meets modern? That's where Vers Le Sous comes in. It's kind of that classic aromatic fougere with ambroxan. And it's not a heavy ambroxan. It's creamy spiced lemon and greens. There's a lot going on in that fragrance. It's very complex. I'd probably say that's the most well-rounded of the four that I have is Vers Le Sous. That's why it's the one I talk about the most, because it's so well-rounded. I mean, you get a 50 ml from Fragrance Buy for like $41. Straight up cheapy. And it's a niche fragrance. Vers Le Sous. VERSLESUD. 3 words. Vers Le Sous. It's amazing. That's my vote. Pick Prime Time. I don't have a flashy enough collection for that. That's why, because Dion's my favorite player of all time. My second favorite player of all time is Ray Lewis. I'm a Ray Lewis guy. If I had just loads of heavy hitters, I would have picked Ray Lewis, and I would have explained why I'm picking Ray Lewis. But I think to pick Dion, you got to have flash and flair. Now, I know Dedrick's got some really good fragrances, but Dedrick, you got to have some real heat to say your collection's prime time. Real heat, like the kind of heat combined we don't have. Just being real with you. That's my thoughts on picking Dion in this situation for that question. I think combined, we don't have the collection, the right fragrances in the collection to say our collection's Deion Sanders. So we're talking about the greatest defensive back of all time here. Those flash and flare. All flash and flare. Right now you're laughing because you're like, I'll be damned, he's right. That's hot. That's like the highest praise to me when it comes to Dion's, the highest praise. Afternoon. Good to see you, Steel Warrior. Another 90s frag must try in terms of any other 90s that I must try in terms of fragrance knowledge. I mean, the obvious ones are Issy, L'Odyssey Pour Homme from Issey Miyake, Aqua de Jo, Tommy, CK1. Those are the obvious ones. One that kind of steps outside the box a little bit, and you can get it cheap, $25. Moschino Uomo. Old hype beasts in the community, early days of this online fragrance community. Get that. Cyclamen, Kumquat. It still smells like the 90s, but it's a little different from all the ones I just named. All the ones I named prior kind of have a lot of similar things going on to one another. They were piggybacking off of each other's success in many ways. Whereas Moschino Uomo kind of did its own thing, but still has that vintage 90s smell. Because sadly, 90s is vintage these days. I'm 38. In the 90s, I was going on 6 years old to 16. So that decade. So yeah, sadly, it's vintage at this point. It's beyond 20 years ago. It's 24 years ago was 99. So anything past 20, I think you can technically call it vintage. I don't know the exact definition for vintage, but I would think it would fall into that safely. So I would say Moschino Uomo. In fact, let me show it to you just in case you have never seen it. Carasso Bay. I know you're a fan of that one, Joel. I know you're definitely a fan. Why is Parfumo not loading? Well, that is just unacceptable. There we go. Just in case you've never seen it. So here's what it looks like. I do have a bottle of it. Woody fresh floral citrus, kumquat, Brazilian rosewood, hedione, coriander, clary sage, cinnamon leaf, cyclamen, musk, amberwood, artemisia, cedar, and solar note. See, Olivier Cresp, one of the greatest to ever do it, perfumed this. This one stands the test of time as one of the more unique but easily wearable men's fragrances from the 90s. See, 97. Came out in 1997. So that's one for educational purposes, as you were saying, I would check out. See, pretty high praise here. 329 ratings, a 7.7 out of 10. So that's one that if you have not got around to checking it out, I would say go for that. It's cheap. It's good cheap, too. Good stuff. All right. I am quite behind, so I'm going to skip just a little bit. Matt Forte is a nice sleeper. I was going to say Marshall Falk, but I like Matt Forte, Beast with the Bears, for sure. That was his prime, was the Bears, for sure. Stitches removed. I'll check the rest of the lot. Well, hope you're good, Spencer. So, screw it. I'll buy all if they ain't that expensive, to be honest. Volcanus, the king of the super chat, wearing Silver Mountain Water. Thank you for the $10 super chat, my man. I appreciate you being here. It's always good to see you. And yeah, Silver Mountain Water, I mean, heavily replicated. Before Aventus came around, that was probably the most cloned from the house, I would think. It's phenomenal. Musky, inky, citric, a little bit of herbal tea. Beautiful. Lady Killer. That's a Lady Killer fragrance. My wife's favorite. That and Fierce. That's my wife's two favorite DNAs. So thanks for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. I got to say, now that this has started to really settle in and come into its own, I think the vetiver is really starting to stand out because it's gotten much more woody, but all of this, juniper wood, driftwood, vetiver, so that explains why it's getting very woody. But it's not super creamy. I'm definitely attributing the creaminess I get to it from this grilled pistachio accord that they put in here. There's still that lightly smoked spice leather feel. Like it's still plenty of saffron, but it's not overwhelming. It was overwhelmingly saffron and aldehydes. Like that top was super dominant when I first sprayed this, and I was digging it. Now that it's calmed down and settled into its own, I bet what I have now is what it's going to be for the next several hours. And obviously, I'll update you guys on how it performed for me and what the wife thinks about it with the weekly rotation. But let's go ahead and give this one a rating before we finish chopping it up. The new release from Vilhelm Parfumerie, Faces of Francis. This is an 8.5 out of 10. This is great. This is absolutely great. Bordering outstanding. After a full review, let me get a couple of wearings in. It probably could get bounced to a 9 out of 10. There is room for this rating to grow beyond the 8.5 out of 10 even. And that's a phenomenal rating. 8 and 8.5 out of 10. That's shining stars in my collection. When you see me start giving 8s and aboves, that's shining stars. That's stuff I really, really, really like. That's where I'm at with this. 8.5 out of 10 first impressions rating. Having it on for about 45 minutes now, roughly. And I'm loving every moment of it. It's consistent sillage. The projection has not calmed down yet. Like I'm constantly smelling it on myself. For those of you just joining, I have 7 sprays on, 1 on the hand, 1 on each forearm, 4 around the neck. It's not too often that what we're talking about ends up being my scent of the day. We busted it open, and I just started spraying it down at the very beginning of the stream. If you want different but not crazy unique, it doesn't smell like everything else. It's a lot of saffron, though. You have to like saffron. It's a spicy, slightly leathery feeling saffron. And the aldehydes really brighten and freshen this thing up. And then it settles into a woody, creamy pistachio. Woods and creamy pistachio is what I'm getting in the heart of this fragrance right now. It is changing and nuancing very smoothly and very nicely. So, yep, 8.5 out of 10 for Faces of Francis. So, looking to dive into Stronger With You line, starting off the OG Necessary, Intensely and Absolutely. Well, those are probably the two most popular. I would encourage starting with the original, at least getting like the little half-ounce bottle, the little travel size or whatever, just so you see where the DNA starts, because this line's good about tying to the DNA. These are all true flankers. You still smell the original in all of them, literally every single one of them. The only one I haven't tried is Oud. I have a decan of leather and I have bottles of the entire rest of the collection, except for the special edition, which is just a special bottle for the original. So I would encourage you, whenever they flanker the right way and always tie back to the original scent, I think it's always best to start with the original scent so you can appreciate what they were doing with the flankers. Same thing goes with Spice Bomb, Aqua de Jo. They always flanker back to the original in some way with the original scent profile mixed in there some kind of way. So this is one of those lines I would say, yeah, definitely start with the original. The original's phenomenal, which is why all the flankers are so good, because the base DNA is really, really good. In my opinion, the Stronger With You line dwarfs the Wanted line from Zaharoff, which I really enjoy both. But if I had to pick one line of the two, it would definitely be Stronger With You. So I give that line a lot of praise. So that's my 2 cents on that. All right. Any other Bengals fans here? I don't know. Not me. I mean, I don't dislike them. I've always, even the Carson Palmer days with Ocho, because I was an Ocho fan. And when they had TJ Hushmanzada, then when they brought T.O. in, like the early 2000s range with Carson Palmer, I was a fan. Not a fan, but like I liked him. Now that they have Joe Burrow, of course I like him. He won LSU a national title, so he's gold for me. Every LSU fan likes the Bengals a little bit. Jamar Chase and Burrow's over there. So you have the support of LSU fans, basically. Cryptic Figure, that magnetic cap is strong. Oh, God, yeah. That's some of the best magnetic caps I have in my collection. Possibly the best. Like, you can damn near hold it by the cap and try to throw the damn bottle, and I don't think the bottle will come off the cap. Like, you'd have to really put some effort in. It's a serious magnet. Ray Lewis, my favorite player ever, so I feel you on that. I wore 52 in high school and college. Yeah, I was a Ray Lewis guy, man. Ray Lewis is what made me a Ravens fan. So people that have been watching this channel for a long time, that my AFC team is the Ravens. I have a good bit of Ravens gear. I've had these, fans that believe you can only like one team call me bandwagon and all this other shit because they've seen me wear Ravens stuff over the years. So I limit the Ravens stuff that I wear on camera because of bitches on the internet, basically. But I've been I just talked about all the Ray Rice stuff I have. You know what I mean? From back in that era. Ed Reed, obviously Dion played over there, but I've always, and T Sizzle, that's my guy. I love Terrell Suggs. But I've always been a Ravens fan since basically like 98. I've liked the Ravens. So they've always been my other team to root for. Because the Saints for a long time were terrible and there was never playoff hopes for me. So I had to have somebody to root for come playoff time, and the Ravens consistently have been a playoff team throughout my life. Well, since their existence anyways. So yeah, I'm a big Ravens guy. So naturally I love Ray Lewis. I always have. That is a leader of men. Good dude. Love me some Ray Lewis. Big fan of Ray Lewis. The ultimate motivator. Let's see. I'm more hockey than football, Canadian, but Deion Sanders was great, ? No, and you spelled his name wrong, so yes, you don't know who he is. Yeah, he's making Colorado worth watching this year, I'll tell you that. Like they were one of the worst teams in college football last year. I think they won like one game, and they spent some money and brought him in. And of course, he brought his sons with him. So I want to see if Shador can get in the Heisman race, because Shador is really good. His son, who's quarterback, is really good. And then on top of that, I saw an interesting post on Instagram yesterday because Jerry Rice's son's a receiver at USC. And then Shiloh, his other son, is a defensive back, and they're playing each other this year. So they showed the comparison. It's funny how father and son it might be a Rice versus Sanders matchup that's probably going to be this year because they're playing each other, because Jerry Rice, the receiver, cornerback Deion Sanders, and then the Suns play the same position, and they're on the schedule this year. So that's interesting. If that's televised to where I can watch it, I'm going to watch that game because that's going to be all the talk. So the only reason I support the Colorado Buffaloes is because I'm a Deion Sanders fan. Just like I was rooting for Jackson State the years he was there, because I love me some Deion Sanders. Love me some Deion Sanders. Another great leader of men. Love Deion. Eddie George and Steve McNair were my favorite players growing up, so it was fun watching them two on the field together. 10-4. European hero only understand. Well, yeah, that's actual football. American football is not the same. I haven't tried anything from Javoy. No experience. Got my eye on psychedelic. My favorite player was LT. LT. Oh, man. Arguably the best football player of all time, not just linebacker. Emmitt Smith was good, too. Indeed. Indeed, he was. I'd have to go back to the previous question. So we've moved on. I can't keep everything fresh in my mind. Brian Westbrook was for all pro previous. I liked Westbrook. Westbrook used to get hurt a lot, though. Damn, he used to get hurt a lot. I used to get him all the time. I loved Brian Westbrook because when he was healthy, boy, you could count on 2 or 3 touchdowns and a bunch of receptions. He's a monster in PPR leagues. I'm trying to see your previous outside of that. I don't want to go too far back. Oh, well, I didn't see it, so we got to go further down. Let me get caught back up. Oud Store has the new one for pre-sale, just letting you know. There you go. I'm not in no rush to get it. There's other things I want to grab that I'm buying. I already got a full cart that I'm buying next week. I'm down to get Moschino Womo, any affiliate link to use so I can get you some kickback. Well, I appreciate that. Let's see if Fragrance Buy has it. That would be an affiliate for me. They sure do have it. Let's see if it's in stock. 75 ml, $21.29. Log in real quick to my affiliate account. Create a link for you real quick. I appreciate that, my man. That's very generous of you. I got to do the CAPTCHA. Hold on for a sec. Cars, right there, right there, right there, right there. All right. Those CAPTCHAs will slow you down when you're logging in. Paste. All right, my man. Let me put that in the chat right now for you, man. I appreciate that. It is in the chat. I appreciate the support, my man. Least I can do for you help, and I love learning from you every day. Thanks, Ross. You're the best, man. Just like you, man. I just love fragrances and love talking about them on the internet, basically. We are not different. The difference is just a few more people watch me than you. That's the only difference, and it's not anything serious. But I appreciate the support and the love, man. I really do. The fragrance, it's Strong Beast or Soft Bro. That's funny. Strong Beast or Soft Bro? Because there's no comma. I know what you mean, though. This is not a beast, but it is not weak. It's just right. Honestly, for everyday wear, just right. I think it's just right. Because it's consistent. It has not weakened, but it's very present. It's easy to smell myself. I bet my whole room smells like this. I bet as soon as I walk out this door, my wife's going to smell me right away. Right away, before I even make it all the way to her. I think within a few feet of approaching her, she's going to smell me because she'll definitely let me know because she knows I'm always testing something and I'm always looking for feedback. So she will let me know. And like I said, I'll report back to you guys on the weekly rotation. That'll come out on Monday, will be the weekly rotation. Lots of flankers. Yes, but the downside with YSL loam is not all of them have loam in them. Or at least smell like it anyways. Not all of them. Most of them do. because you got to look at it this way as well. Lanois de Lome is a flanker to Lome. So that flanker spawned its own line of flankers. So you got to lump all of that in. You got to lump all of that in together. But even if you just look at Lome without the Lanois de Lome line, most of them do smell like Lome. But I agree with you, because the majority do, it would be best to start with the original. But the problem is the original smells so good, you're going to be expecting that level of greatness, because it's a timeless fragrance. It'll never be bad. I don't care who's. People can complain about performance all they want. As far as how it smells, it'll never not be a good option for a guy every day. It's that good. So excited today. Came home to Signature Noir, Royale, and X Rosé. Ooh, damn. Got the bundle deal. That's a badass package right there, man. I'm excited for you. I hope you enjoy them. Seriously, I hope you enjoy them. Another great chat. I'm picking up the sample today. Definitely got a jet. Frank, good to see you. Thank you for coming by, my man. We have a little over an hour. We'll be shutting it down here in just a few minutes. Strong with you. Oud is great too for me. Is number 1. Absolutely. 2 is Oud. 3 is Intensely. So the only reason I can't rank Oud is because it's the only one I haven't smelled. But for me, it's Absolutely, then Leather, then Intensely. And I've heard Oud and Leather are pretty similar. So I guess we're basically on, eye to eye on the way we would rank them. Because that's literally, I have the same ranking. You just swap out Oud for Leather. And once I try Oud, it might be at the 2 hole. I don't know. Because I've heard Leather and Oud are very similar to each other. We'll see eventually. Just joined in today. Masoni Port Homme. Smelling like Blue Day Chanel. I'm a Cowboys fan, but most definitely a Sanders fan. Well, I mean, he played with y'all. He played for y'all. How could you not? He was part of that 90s era. He helped y'all guys win a lot of games. He played receiver more for the Cowboys than he did for the Falcons or the Niners. I don't know if he ever did for the Redskins and the Ravens. I don't know if he ever lined up in the slot like he did with the Niners and the Cowboys. Mike Allstott's my favorite player. Huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. Well, that's fair, because he's like Mr. Buccaneer, Oh, man, we're talking about my era of football with some of these players now. My childhood, The football team you root for are bums. You got to love other teams to root for. So why a bunch of people in Dallas rooted for the Pats. It doesn't take long to have somebody take a shot at the Cowboys. Oh, my God. It's a thing. That's like a meme among football fans. Good Lord. I can't say I don't do it, too. It's fun to fuck with Cowboys fans, because I give this to the Cowboys fans. It's because they're so passionate. That's not a bad thing. Love the hell out of your team. I'm for it. I'm all for it, because good, bad, or indifferent, I'm a Saints fan, and I've had way more bad years than good. That's why Sean Payton and Drew Brees can do no wrong, because I had years to be excited about being a Saints fan. I had a decade and a half of that, growing up with the Saints being awful. So, and, we're okay. We're looking promising, but we're not going to have a Super Bowl team for God knows how long again. Lions fan here, Barry Sanders all the way. Hey, you can't argue with that. If he'd have played a few more years longer, there'd be no question on who's the best running back of all time. If he wouldn't have shut it down and played a few more years, that's why Emmett kept playing. He wanted to get the stats, so he was undeniable. Because the question was, who's better during that era? Because it was them two and Walter Payton was the argument. And if Barry Sanders would have played longer, it'd be Barry Sanders. Emmett, the longevity benefited Emmett. Don't get me wrong, I was an Emmett fan, but let's call it what it is. Barry Sanders would I know a lot of people feel that way even without the extra stats and longevity. But if he'd have played 3 or 4 more years, it'd be undeniable that Barry Sanders was the greatest running back of all time. So I'm with you. Barry Sanders all the way, man. And I grew up a lot. I had an Emmitt Smith jersey. Okay. So we're talking football now. We'll do another 10 minutes. Football season's ramping up. You can tell everybody's excited. What are you wearing right now? I am wearing what we are talking about, Faces of Francis. So that was the topic of discussion. I opened it on camera and sprayed on. I got 7 sprays on right now. That was what we discussed randomly all throughout this live stream. I'm at the Faces of Francis right now in cold weather. I think you'd wear it year round. It's got enough going on. It's dense enough while still being, like I said with the opening, fresh but warm. That combination, the aldehydes with the saffron, the way that worked out, I think was brilliant. It's still just as fresh and just as warm, but not as bright because it's calmed down a little bit. But it still has strength to it. So when I say it's calmed down, I don't mean it's not strong anymore. Like it's not as abrasive. In the opening, it was just so bright. There's a lot of spice, leather. There was a lot going on, and then loads of aldehydes, which offer this effervescent feel, which makes it so bright without it being super soapy. Most of the time, aldehydes are going to make it soapy. The designer fragrances, that's usually the case. Whereas with Faces of Francis, this is easily the best aldehyde note that I have in this collection. This is the best aldehyde note. Easily. Not even a question. Amari, good to see you wearing Chrome Extreme. You smell great. You smell nice and oceanic and metallic. I haven't wore it since I got here. I need to. I still got plenty of beach days ahead of me, trust me. Any fragrances out there that would follow the same scent profile as Dove, Eucalyptus, Oil, and Cedar? Nothing that comes to mind immediately, Dylan. Can't think of anything. I'm not saying there isn't. Probably. I'm sure they're not originating that profile. I'm sure there's something out there. I just can't think of anything. Did you go streaking when the Saints won the Super Bowl, or did you go staking? Neither. I teared up immediately while all the stuff was falling because unfortunately my Uncle Clayton didn't live to see it because my Uncle Clayton's the biggest Saints fan I ever knew. My cousin / little brother's dad, he died of cancer, lung cancer on us 2 years. Yeah, 2 years before the Saints won the Super Bowl, 2 or 3 years. Forgot exactly. And that's what was frustrating because he was a finance manager at Trapp Chevrolet in Houma, Louisiana for years and years. And that man lived at work. Only thing he gave a shit about in his spare time was watching the Saints during football season. Leave me the hell alone during. That's why we grew up such big Saints fans. My Uncle Clayton. So that's what was disappointing because me and my cousin, I called him. He was there. He tailgated in Miami for it because these season tickets goes to away games. My cousin's actually the biggest Saints fan I know. He's also the commissioner of all of my fantasy leagues, basketball, baseball, the football leagues. He's also the commissioner. And he and I are each other's biggest competition. He and I have the most championships. He has more than me, but I have the second most championships. So that's what actually realistically happened. I know you're trying to be funny, but I'm telling you, this is actually quite emotional because there's, deeper rooted stuff with that. So that's why we are Saints fans in my family. We are actual real ride or die Saints fans. Same here. Tampa does not have the best track record. Sadly, Tampa, I believe, still holds the record for the most losses or longest losing streak. Oh, that sucks. Whoops. Loving the Jags joined league. Mark Brunell. God, those days. And Kerry Collins when he was with the Panthers. That was around that same time. Just shows how long Kerry Collins played. He played a long time. Nobody played longer than Tom Brady, though. A great team. It's fans that are out of their minds. Well, I only really know one Eagles fan. Shout out to Juan, Fat Boy Fragrances. He's the only Eagles fan that I actually know. Like, I know of other Eagles fans, but I know Juan is what I mean. Like, Juan's a friend of mine. So, Montrese in the house. What's going on, big dog? D4L, I'll take that trash talk. Gotta get back to work. Y'all have an awesome day. Big man, big lifestyle. It's good to see you, my man. I appreciate you stopping in. Scent of the day. Oud lemon mint. Lemon mint and oud. I'm assuming you meant Mancera oud lemon mint. Sorry to hear that, Ross. Were you there? No, I wasn't in Miami. Do you mean when he passed? Yes, I was there. But as far as tailgating for the Super Bowl, no, I was at home. So, but my cousin, he was out there. He had what we called the Houdat wagon. He had this old van that was painted Saints colors, decals, everything. Had the turf inside the van. He bought that to tailgate at games. He don't have it anymore. He doesn't have it anymore. But he took that damn thing to Miami and tailgated for the Super Bowl. What scent would you wear in the booth for the first Sunday Sunday night NFL game, if you were announcing the game, and who would be your partner? That's funny. Probably him, first and foremost. That would be the person for me to just have football banter with my cousin. That would be perfect. We think alike when it comes to football. So I would say him. And then as far as the scent, oh shit, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever the mood would strike me with at the time, really. Oh, just got a text. I'll deal with that after. So yeah, I really don't know what the hell I would wear at all. Scent of the day, Sadrap was that you can't go wrong there. Phil's got the best fan base on the planet. Fly, Eagles, fly. Ever since Ross brought up the idea of a blue spice bomb, I've been testing out layering Dylan Blue with spice bomb, and it's actually pretty damn good. I'm sure it works. Yes, but I'm also a North Carolina Tar Heel fan. Just like I'm a Saints fan through and through, but I do like the Ravens. I always have. Like, I'm very happy that Odell went there. Give Lamar another weapon. As long as he stays healthy, that was a great move for all parties involved. But it's the same thing. I'm an LSU fan, but I've always been a Tar Heels fan. You guys have seen me wear UNC stuff. I wear UNC stuff all the time. Blue's my favorite color, baby blue. And it started off as a kid. You know, Michael Jordan went there. You know, that's where you start. But I love the color, and then it just evolves. I follow the football team. I follow the baseball team. Obviously, I follow men's basketball. Now with LSU, I'm a Flauget Angel Reese guy. Let's go, Lady Tigers. Huh? How about them blowing up? Because I follow them both on social media now. And them two chicks are huge right now. They are cashing in on their fame. My God. Every time I turn on Instagram, I see posts from them. Good Lord Almighty. Shout outs to Flauget and Angel Reese, man. They are killing the game. They need to repeat, though. Don't lose. And they just got better. I forgot the chick's name, the point guard we picked up. It's eluding me right now, but the team just got better, and we just came off of a national championship win. So, Lady Tigers, you got to go back to back this year. Sounds like my family in Pittsburgh, Steeler fans. Us Eagles fans are mild-tempered and always classy. You are lying, Frankie. That is a lie. Your nose just grew, Pinocchio. Mango skin from Vilhelm's. So that's what Joel was talking about earlier. Eagles fan right here. Well, yeah, you just hit us with the Fly Eagles Fly a minute ago. So I need to watch episode 2. I watched episode 1. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy. I love Aaron Rodgers. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. I just love his personality. Obviously, he's ridiculously talented. One of the most talented to ever play the position. But I just love the person, Aaron Rodgers. So it's awesome that he's on Hard Knocks. So I haven't watched episode 2 yet. I watched episode 1. I finally found somebody that likes it. I've only heard negativity so far. Well, underwhelmed, not necessarily negativity. Prime, everybody in their prime? Because I've watched Deuce McAllister push 6 people 3 yards into the goal line. Because we're talking prime, believe it or not, I'm taking Deuce over Reggie. Now, we got to take college football out of this because Reggie Bush is one of the greatest college running backs of all time. Top 3 ever. Top 3 ever. I said it. And he was great. He had some really good years with us. He had some great years with the Lions and the Dolphins. But I've watched Deuce McAllister do some incredible things in his prime before his knees got bad. And he's also one of the most beloved Saints of all time. So I'm going to go with Deuce McAllister. I'm going to start him. I'm going to bench Reggie, and I'm cutting Sproles. Interesting question. Because at least if Deuce gets hurt, I can bring Reggie in because he's on the bench. But yeah, the order you listed him is the order I would pick him. Wearing afternoon swim. I'm curious your thoughts on the zoologist line. I'm interested in Cal. I never really spent any time with him, honestly. Zara Chrome Extreme is a beast. Polo Blue Parfum today, 49ers fan right here. I actually had the 49ers starter jacket when I was a kid. 5th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. The old starter jackets where you unzip it and it's got the little puff comes out with the starter logo. Everybody else had the Saints, and I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different because I was such a Jerry Rice fan. As a kid, I loved, obviously, Dion, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Joe Montana, like all the stars of the teams they were the league in the early 90s. You know what I mean? That was the rivalry, the Niners and the Cowboys. So that was during the time when starter jackets got popular. I was like, I want to be different. I got the 49ers. So, yep. So I don't dislike the 49ers. I don't love the 49ers. And I still have that jacket. I never got rid of it. It's a collectible. It's somewhere around here in a tub. But yeah, it's a collectible. Because you know how it is when you're a kid. You don't just have the home team. You have other stuff when you're a kid too. Living in Buffalo showed me what true fans are. The Bills could be 0-12 and they still sell out stadium in a snowstorm. That is the truth. I always assume you wore UNC stuff because you look handsome in baby blue. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do think baby blue looks good on me as well. It's funny that you say that. Sounds like I need to be hitting Ross up for fantasy football advice. I've been doing it for years, man. Years and years. And my redraft league, PPR, we've been doing that one. It started off when we worked at Outback. It used to be the Outback League, and my cousin took it over. That league's been going for 19 years, 18 years, something like that. My Dynasty League, which we have everything but O-linemen and punters, 40-man roster, IDP. It's a keeper dynasty. We only draft rookies and free agents. The free agent pool is who we cut every year. Like people that aren't drafted aren't available to pick up throughout the year. So the free agent pool is slim. So you got to be deep. The deeper 10 teams, when you draft well and trades don't happen that often, people are smartened up. I've fucked a lot of people in trades because I'm just smarter than them. They've wised up over the years. But that league in particular, it's touchdown heavy. So a franchise quarterback can make up for holes in the team. So if you have a top tier quarterback, like the top quarterback every year makes around 800 points. Just give you an idea, because touchdowns are 10 points. All touchdowns are 10 points, which makes it quarterback heavy. Every 10 yards is a point instead of every 25 yards, like traditional. We play on myfantasyleague.com. It's like the best site for dynasty leagues. That league, how many years is it? 11? 11 or 12 years. I've won that league 3 times, and I've been to the Super Bowl 7 times. I got 3 rings, so I don't have my rings out. But y'all remember the trophy with the little ring boxes in some of my older videos? The trophy is the one time I won the redraft league. I've been to the Super Bowl 3 times in all those years. We've had a revolving door of people coming in and out, like a third of the league. The majority of us have been there forever. I make the playoffs almost every year, but I've had a year where I finished last. I actually had a back-to-back years I finished last. That was awful. That was like 5 years ago too. That sucked. But I was in the playoffs last year. I made it to the semis, but didn't make it to the big game, the money game. But I only have 1 Super Bowl win in that league. I have 3 Super Bowl wins and 7 appearances in the Dynasty League. That's either 11 or 12 years old. My cousin has 5 Super Bowls in that league, and he's been to 8. Literally all but 1. I've been to 7 Super Bowls. 6 of them were against him. Now you see the context on we're each other's biggest competition. We both have almost all of the championships in that league. I have 3, he has 5. That's 8 out of 11. 3 unaccounted for. It's an 8-man league. It's not necessarily about asking me for advice. I'm just, with redraft leagues, there is some skill involved, but there's a lot of luck of the draw. A dynasty long-term keeper league, there's skill involved. You're managing the team. You're the general manager of the team. You have to build your team long-term. We have 7 rounds, 8 teams, 56 picks. You can trade draft picks all the way 5 years out. Like I could trade my 3rd round pick for 3 years from now for something. We can do package deals, multiple picks, all that stuff. You can trade up, trade down. You can do all these different things and build it as close to being an actual general manager as you can, basically. So we start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a kicker, a tight end, 2 defensive ends, 1 defensive tackle, 2 defensive ends, and 4 linebackers. or because you can run a 4-3 or a 3-4. You can run two different defenses. So you can run 2 tackles, 2 defensive ends, and 3 linebackers, or you can run 1 tackle, 2 defensive ends, and 4 linebackers, which for fantasy points, that's the way to go. Unless you just happen to have like the 2 bet, like if you have Aaron Donald and Jonathan Thomas, which I have Jonathan Thomas, but if you would have both of them, then you want to start both of the best tackles. Then we also start 2 corners and 2 safeties. But we roster 40 players. So there's a lot more that goes into it. Like I could go on and on. It's a deep league. It's not people that are used to redrafts will be confused as a son of a bitch. We have a real off-season trades. This is a year-round league. We have an off-season. We have off-season meetings. I don't get to go to a lot of them. Sometimes we do virtual, but I don't get to go to a lot of them and go have some drinks and shoot the shit at the Buffalo Wild Wings and trade and stuff like that. Like I don't get to do that anymore because I don't live by them anymore. But we used to do that. They still do that. Just a couple of us live out of state now. But yeah, it's the real deal, man. I can talk fantasy football all day long with you, big dog. That is my jam. Giants fan. Hey, there's promise for you guys. There is some promise. Bit generic, sort of a mix of a lot of good. So we're going longer than I thought. I'm definitely going to shut it down in an hour and a half. Definitely. I got a lot of shit to do because I'm leaving tomorrow. Good stuff, mass appeal and easy dumb reach. Yeah, that was really good. I need to spend some more time with it. I think it's going to be better for the fall. I don't think it's ideal right now. So now you guys know who texted me. It's all good, Randy. All good. Lolita Limpica, Green Lover. Megatron. Okay. Bulgari Aquamarine. Excellent choice, Mikey. Good to see you. Only got Reflection from Amouage. Any other recommendations? Looking to dive more into their fragrances. Well, my 2 favorites are Reflection and Epic. But if you want a nice, dry, spicy, smoky tobacco, Journey is underappreciated. Journeyman is phenomenal. Boundless is a really good sweet, smoky tobacco. They have a multitude of tobacco fragrances. They're similar enough to be redundant. I have both, but they have their differences. I would say if you want the more masculine one, go with Journey. If you want the more mass appealing one, go with Boundless. It's kind of how you can look at it. And then, I would say definitely try those. One of those 2 tobaccos and try Epic. Very smoky incense, resinous, very Middle Eastern feel to it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So you already have Reflection, so I don't even have to bother bringing that up. But Meander's good, not phenomenal. Beach Hut's a great green fragrance. I'm trying to think. Because not all of them are worth getting. Overture is very situational. It's phenomenal. It's very situational. I advise sampling that one. Don't just buy that one. Got the impression myself would be loved more over time, like Dior 2020. That's fair. I had a Cowboys and Falcons starter jet. Falcons, boo. Boo. My Tampa fans in here are going to agree with me on that. That's the shit of my division. I don't have nothing against the Buccaneers and the Panthers, but screw the Falcons. The Tampa fans in here are probably like, yeah, screw the Falcons. That's the thing. There's always that one team in every division that the fans of the rest of the division don't like. The Falcons. That's the NFC South. Nicola Riviera Verbena. I've never tried that. Played soccer all the way through college. American football is Jets for me. Well, you got a promising year ahead if you're a Jets fan. Promising year. Ever thought of doing a video on most unique looking bottles in your collection? I'm not going to say the thought has never popped in my head, and it's not the first time it's been recommended or suggested or asked. Maybe I will have to do that at some point. So I have to now that I'm getting settled in, I have to get back to the member polls on content. I haven't been doing those in the last 2 weeks because of all the chaos, but probably after this weekend, because I'm traveling this week, Thursday to Sunday, I'll probably get back to that. And I might throw that in there and see if it's something that they want to see. And Sanders jersey. Switched to the Titans when Tennessee got a team, since that's where I'm from. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Speaking of baby blue, Titans, What's going on, Giancarlo? We're running a little bit longer. They got me on football. They got me on football right before kickoff. Literally, I'm leaving to go draft my redraft team tomorrow. That's what I go to back to Louisiana every year for. The redraft league, we draft live. Whereas my dynasty league, literally the week after the actual NFL draft, we draft that online. Like that draft's been done for a while. Right after they walked across the stage, the next weekend, we were online drafting our 56 picks, the 7 rounds. Sorry. Yeah, that happened already. Which final cuts are this week because we got to get down to a 40-man roster, which I already cut down to a 40-man roster because we have what's called a free agent offense and free agent defense. And to pick up players that's our free agent pool, you have to make a trade because you have to maintain 40 players. So if you're picking up an offensive player, you have to, if you're cutting a defensive player, you have to make a trade or a release, but it's actually a trade for nothing to the free agent defense and make a trade for the player with you giving nothing to the free agent offense. And Jordan, my commissioner, will approve them. So, and there's no trade deadlines though. You can literally, if somebody wants to get in cahoots, as long as it's not complete bullshit, because the trade we don't vote on trades, but boy, if it's obvious bullshit, it'll get vetoed. But even leading up to the Super Bowl, you can trade. So has to be within reason. No fuckery. This is a long-term league. We've been doing this for 2 decades in one league and over a decade in the Dynasty League. So no fuckery. We don't do that. Enclave. I totally forgot about that. Beautiful spearmint, smoky spearmint cardamom. I don't know why that one didn't come to mind. Good point, Joel. Derej, should I get Paris Hilton for men in 2023? It's not even about a year. That's fodder for content. That's just headlines and clicks and stuff like that. Like, not too many fragrances are dated. Some will smell like an era and a timeline. That's what really being dated is all about. Like, it smells like the 80s. It smells like the 90s. It's dated. You think of that time frame. That's truly being dated. Not working anymore, like it's not good to wear anymore. That's BS. Anybody can wear what they like. I mean, there's stuff that's been around for 40, 50 years that people still wear as signature scents. So I say look at it this way. If it sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can scoop it up for under $20 at a rack store. If it's worth $15, $20 to just try it, go for it. I mean, you'll pay more than that for a niche decant for 2 or 3 ml. If it sounds interesting, go for it. Because it is a really nice freshie. It's on the slightly unique kind of that cucumber watery smell. It has this mountain air accord, but I couldn't tell you what mountain air smells like, and I lived in the mountains for 3 years. But it does have an inherent freshness, and it is a nice fragrance. Not a strong performer, but a really good cheapie. It is a really good cheapie. It's just one you got to roll the dice on. And it sounds like a real commitment. LOL, my league's 10-man standard, and we were considering dropping a few positions to make. Now that's my dynasty league. Now we do have a standard, regular redraft PPR. That's what I'm going to draft. Saturday's our draft. So I got out of baseball. A couple of years ago, and I'm kind of missing it now. And that's always got a revolving door team. So I might jump back into baseball next season. I've been kind of missing. I've been out of baseball for like 5 years now. Kind of missing that, but I just went to the NBA Finals on our basketball league. I've won the champion. We've been playing fantasy basketball for, man, we're talking about like LeBron's rookie year, like 02-03 era was when we started. Like 15, 16 years we've been playing fantasy basketball, and I've won that 6 times, and I've been to the finals like 10 times. That's when I changed my name to the legendary Team Gates, was because of basketball. So Team Gates was always my fantasy sports name for those of you that's what TLTG stands for, the legendary Team Gates. Fantasy sports is my thing. So when it got to where I was just winning so consistently, or I was at the dance, even if I didn't win, I made the dance. I'd make the joke that my team has become legendary. So I changed my team name one year to Legendary Team Gates, and it stuck. And in the matchups, they always make an acronym of the team name. So it says TLTG versus, or whoever versus TLTG. That's where TLTG Reviews comes from. For those of you that didn't know, I get asked all the time. Because sometimes some people, it's their first time getting asked. Not everybody's seen the reviewer episode on the Zaharoff channel from years ago. Not everybody's around not everybody's hearing this right now when I'm saying it. So I'll get asked again and again and again, but that's where it comes from. But the nickname Team Gates, it's rooted even further. I would encourage go and check out my episode on the Zaharoff YouTube channel, Review the Reviewer, Ross Carlos. I tell the story on the background of where it started to where it got to. If you want to hear more details, if you're interested. Is it from Clarence? So yeah, we're out an hour and a half. We're going to go ahead and shut it down, guys. Let me just kind of get to the bottom real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty much to the bottom. I was always wondering what TLTG meant. Well, now you know. You happen to be here for it, so now you know. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, guys. I appreciate those of you hanging out with me. Like I said, I expected an intimate group because we're advertising a niche fragrance that's a brand new release that most people probably haven't even heard of yet. So I didn't expect a big crowd. Like, even having 63 people right now, I'm very thankful for you guys. We got close to 100, you know. Like I said, I expected an intimate 40 to 100 range. I wasn't expecting some big live stream like when we were talking about the new releases coming with the split screen the other day. We had peaked at 240, 250 and held over 200 most of the time. It depends on the topic, on the crowd, you know. But I appreciate you guys being here because the way I look at it, I explained it earlier. When I have whatever crowd I have for when I'm talking about a specific niche fragrance in a live stream, you guys are the real collectors. Y'all are really into fragrance to come see whatever the hell's being talked about. You're here for any topic because you just love to talk about fragrance and love fragrance. So not to knock those that don't come to this type of stream, not to knock them, but to give you guys that extra praise because that's how I view it. Like, you're really, really into this because you probably had a couple of you probably heard about this release, but majority of you probably had no idea. And I got to say, it's officially my favorite from them. I've tried 3 now. I have 3. And this is the most versatile. It has gotten a little bit more creamy. But we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Sin of the Bay, I'll read your super chat real quick. I appreciate the $5. What's going on? Glad I made it in. Well, we're shutting it down. Sin of the day, good layering discovered. Tommy, 1 spray. Wood sage and sea salt, 3 sprays. We're talking Joe Malone, wood sage and sea salt. Mixed with Tommy. I bet that does work because all the green aspects of Tommy. I bet that does work. But Josh, I see you jumping in. Like I said, I appreciate that, Ruben. Thank you. As a young entrepreneur working as 1099, can I write off my taxes through YouTube? If you earn income through YouTube, you will receive a 1099 from Google. And like the fragrances I buy, those are write-offs because that's what I use on my YouTube channel. TLTG Reviews is a hobby, is a passion, is a content creation outlet, and is also a business because I earn income from it. I am a 1099 subcontracted employee is how you can look at it. It's 1099M, I believe, for miscellaneous is what I receive from Google every year for tax season. So fragrances, equipment, apparel, all the stuff that you guys see on camera is a write-off. That's just the way doing your taxes works. There are certain write-offs when you're 1099 and such, LLC'd. There are write-offs. That indeed is a fact, sir. I love it. Don't forget to like the video, indeed. And safe travels. I appreciate that. And we are out. I am heading to Louisiana tomorrow. I don't know what the rack stores will hold, but if there's anything worth filming and buying, you will get a rack store video from Louisiana to start next week. So you guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one, and thank you for being here.